Welcome back to my next tutorial series with the D3 to D1 using Nazareth in the Crumb world. We're getting really close. Tomorrow morning, the very first game is going to play against East Mennonite based on my schedule here. So let's get to the nitty-gritty of game planning against a team. So first things first, we're going to go to the practice plan. And in my blog, I talk about either the 1-2-3 system or the 100-point system. And the 1-2-3 system would be 3 for the players. You put your play distribution as a 3 for the players that are going to score, 2 for the backup scorers, and 1 for the guys like freshmen that aren't going to do anything or aren't worth a darn. But to be honest, I use a 100-point system, which means I make my play distribution, up to equal to 100, all the way at the bottom here, all the way up and down. And the way that I did this here is we're looking at getting my best players are going to get the majority of the distribution. So we look at Mark Castilla, gets a 12. Steve Griffin gets a 12. Those are two of my best players. And Troy Piezinski gets a 10 because he's still, again, he's really good. So those three guys can be my main scorers, with Butcher, Meany being my backups here. And then, let's see, then we've got Stephen Cornelius, Humphrey, my freshman shooting guard, and Roy Howard and Lionel Mason bringing it up in the back, and then Pankey here, just kind of a 7. And then these guys, if they ever get in, they'll have a little bit of a of a thing there. So that's important there. Foul trouble is important here, so I usually base these on defense. So with guys that have a little bit better defense, I'm going to leave in longer. Anybody over 60 here, I'm going to leave in longer. Anybody really low down here, I'm going to take out quicker. Down in the 20s, you notice 30, 35, he's a senior, I'm going to let him stay in. Junior, senior, junior, yeah, we're going to keep that there. And we're going to leave this guy's normal because he is a junior. And Pankey's going to say take out quicker. So, and then I always save all defenses because I really, to be honest, don't change this at all, ever. I could leave it the same all year long. And then we're going to take a quick peek and look at the perimeter here. Brzezinski has a 74. I'm going to give him a +1. I might actually bump that to a +2 with Roland Howard being a 0. And then everybody else, because they're so low, is going to be a negative. I'm actually going to go -2 on all these guys because I'd rather score on the inside at this point because I don't have a really good perimeter team. So next is looking at our double teams. And because we're running a zone defense, I think I can double team. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to double team the big guys because their ball handling is low, right? Low ball handling. They're going to cough it up and they can't pass. So I always generally double team the big guys. And usually I do it based on current stats, but we don't have any stats yet. So I usually base it on their stats of which is the better players. But just doing it initially is I base it off of the ball handling and passing of the big guys, and I usually double team them because I don't want them to score on the inside. I'd rather give up 3-point shots than because the likelihood the 3-point shots going in are much lower than an inside shot. So I always generally play that way. Next is going to be our team game plan. So this one's a little more difficult, but I usually go to the team I'm playing. I look at their stamina, and they've got a 69 overall stamina. And I've got a 70. So we're about even. And because we're about even, I'm going to actually bump it up to normal because we're about even. Now, if I had a huge advantage there, I'd put it up to up tempo. Or if I had a very big disadvantage, I'd put it down to low tempo because of how that would be. There. Positioning, I usually leave it at 0 for the first game, but I base it off of their game log, and I usually go in the game log and see how many 3-pointers they attempted. I usually use that, but for the first one, I'm going to use their perimeter rating here, and it's a 30, and they have one guy here, freshman, that has a 79, and that's really the only guy I have to worry about, but he's a freshman, okay? So I'm actually probably going to go a -2 on the first game because he's probably going to try to score on the inside. I'm not too worried there, but it is a stone chase, and he does have a full court press, so that's not too bad there. But it is something to be aware of, so I'm going to save that. But other than that, you have your winning late and losing late strategies. I'm not really going to go into that. I have mine set, but I don't really fool with them too much. I know some people live and die by those, and they really think it matters at the end of the game. And to be honest, it probably does. But I mean, you can take a look at what I have. I do update this every once in a while, but I think I in my Wyoming team, I haven't touched it for about 10 seasons. I've left it the same for 10 seasons. So there's that with it. But this is kind of all about the game planning, and those are the things I look at. And I could look even further, and you could too. And I've had more success when I really go in and I see this game. I can't really do much with it because it's just it's the first game of the season. But once you get the game and get seasons going on, you can start looking at these players and looking at, okay, what players do they generally start? What players are they trying to hide? Right, so you can exploit them with the depth chart, and that would be you'd find, say, let's say they're starting, they're going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Let's say that those are the 5 they're starting. I'd probably go and find out which one of the players they've got that I'm gonna try to exploit. And to be honest here, they have really no defenders on this team, which with that now that's gonna change my thing here. I'm gonna fast paste it, and this is because they don't have any defense. They have none. And because they don't have any defense, I'm going to tire them out by running them to death. And when they get tired, they're going to foul more, and I'm going to get more free throws, and I'm going to score more points. Okay? Simple as that. I want to wear them down and score more points on them early on. So we're going to do that. But those are just the basics, because I could try to exploit their weak link in their game plan, right? I could easily come in and go say, I'm going to go here, 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 and here because of A, B, C, and D. I'm going to try to put my point guard at shooting guard because they have a terrible shooting guard and I want to score a lot of points, or I want to put my, so on and so forth. And here, I probably could do that because let's be honest, they've got this point guard here who they're probably going to start, but their shooting guard with their best perimeter scoring is this guy right here. And I could put one of my better defenders on him, which I am. If you look at my depth chart here, right, I'm putting Humphrey on him, who has 62 defense. Right, he's a pretty good player. He's going to probably stop him pretty well starting off. And so with that, I'm not too terribly worried about my ability here to stop this team. I'm feeling pretty confident. So that's the basics of what I do with game planning. I know I went a little more in depth than I normally do. Usually it takes me about maybe 5 minutes and I'm done. I don't change my depth chart very often, but sometimes I do depending on the team. I always change my player game plan. I always look at the team game plan and I go from there. But those are the basics. If you have any questions, let me know. And otherwise, have a good one and keep good luck coaching.